Hi, everybody. This is Michele Amburgey, and I am streaming this live. Um, we're going to be talking about New Earth Calling. Many people are coming to me and telling me that they are feeling like they have a place to, something to do, something that's important regarding this transformation that we're experiencing right now. And if you're feeling like you are. And so I wanted to start talking about it. This is something that I have been called to be a part of since I was a child. I've always known since I was very, very young that there was a end times. There was the apocalypse. There was the end of the world. I was always very fascinated with this end times things. I used to read the revelations in the Bible over and over and over, trying to understand. Um, I was born into the Mormon church, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. A lot of their teachings and what the church concentrates on is the return of Christ, the coming back of Christ, and that time and all that is going in. And of course, Revelations in the Bible is part of that. And I've always been totally fascinated with it. And I always knew that I would have an important part to play. And 20 years ago, when I got into the healing business, when I started realizing I was an intuitive and a healer and had all these gifts, I knew that that was lending towards something that had to do with this. But now we're in it. It is happening and it's super exciting. And I'm really feeling impassioned to start really standing up talking about it. New Earth Leadership is the umbrella that I'm putting it under. And right now we're just going to talk about the calling. So while we're waiting for people to get on and notice what's happening here, I'm going to start sharing this to some other places. And if you guys bear with me, and also if you have any questions about New Earth Leadership, if you feel like you have a calling, go ahead and put some comments in there. Again, I'm Michele Amburgey. I'm the Awakener. I'm also an Araku. I am a teacher for the New Earth Leaders. So I also have a program that has been downloaded to help begin gathering people and getting like teaching. And it's not really teaching. What it is almost like channeling through information and alignments and all kinds of stuff that we need to kind of get us up to date, get us up to par. And so let me just give me a second. I am going to share this out to a few different things. I'm going to be sharing this out to the Soulful Living Tribe, my buds over there. And I'm going to share this out to New Earth Leadership. And I'm also going, those are groups. And then I'm also going to be sharing this out to our Awoken TV people as well. So let's send it on over. So as we're sitting here, this is so cool. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Michele Amburgey. I am an awakener. Excuse me. So I received this title as the Awakener a while ago. I had an experience when I had asked the universe what is oneness, and I was shown in a very, very beautiful way what oneness is. And in that, I was also told that I was the Awakener. And it took me a little while to kind of take that on because I'm really careful about being the one and only of anything because I don't believe in that. But it was funny because I had said that to somebody, and what followed right after that sounded almost like another voice in my head, which is usually my angels or guides. I am the Awakener, one of many. And so that was like, oh my gosh, that feels so much better. And not too long ago, I actually met somebody and he said, I'm an Awakener too. And I was like, yay, there are. So when we take on these titles, we take on these mantles, when we take on these understandings of who we really are, we have to understand we're not always just saying, well, I'm the only one, because that's just not true. There's so many of us that are here. And so I just really, really welcome you guys. I welcome your presence here. I'm so grateful to be able to be here and to be talking about this now. I feel like for myself that really through 2020, with everything that happened in 2020, with the pandemic, the lockdown, the kind of craziness that has been happening on our planet, it became very clear to me about the middle of last year, 2020, that we were in it. That all the studies, all the things that I'd done, all the prophecy that I had read, all the Nostradamus, all the books about these end times, the shift of the ages, the Kali Yuga, the Mayan teachings, and I just realized we're in it. This is happening. And it's really, really kind of boggled my mind because knowing from a child, and, we're talking, you know, like more than a half a century ago when I was a child, don't do the math. Um, that I really knew what was happening. And I also know that I'm here to help others through this. I know that I'm here to support, to help, to lead the way, all the above. And I know there's many of you that are too. And I know that there's many of you who have reached out to me who have said, "Oh my God, yes. Yes, New Earth calling. Yes, 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 yes." And so part of what I'm doing too is I am creating a community. I'm just beginning with the community, gathering people together. And I'm starting it with the Facebook group, and it's called New Earth Leadership. And it's New Earth Leadership Group. And I would love for you guys to come join us. There are so many different ways that we can step into leadership. There's so many things that are crumbling away before our very eyes and that need to have something come up from that, need to be the phoenix rising, right? One thing that I get really, really strong, and as we're moving into this, and even right now, I work with Archangel Michael very, very much. Most of my work that I do is through Archangel Michael. I communicate with all of the universal consciousness, all of oneness, all of creation, but it comes down through Archangel Michael. He's kind of my bouncer, my spiritual bouncer, if you will. But I want to tell you right now, Archangel Metatron, who is the other archangel that I work with and who channels through me, is coming in really loud and clear. And he's saying, it's almost like he's stepping in really powerfully, almost like in front of Archangel Michael, saying that when it comes to this New Earth leadership, that's his domain. That is his place. Um, Archangel Metatron is one of the few angels. Metatron and Sandalphon are the only archangels who ever walked on this planet as actual humans. They understand the human travail. They understand our trials. They understand the emotion and the emotional part and the mental activity that we go through as humans. And he's saying that he can step in and really help us. So I'm getting chills. Archangel Metatron is stepping in and saying that he will be your archangel for the New Earth Leadership program. Oh, that makes me kind of cry. That's super cool. And I know I want to welcome all of you that are watching too. Again, I'm Michele Amburgey, and we are talking about the callings that people have for New Earth Leadership, and I'm calling it New Earth calling. And it's New Earth is calling you, your calling from deep within yourself. But one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, and that I've been getting really strong from Archangel Metatron, is that we need to stop looking at and getting wrapped up in emotionally, mentally, even spiritually on what is falling away, on what is collapsing. Now, it's really hard to do that when the world is falling down around your ears. And I understand that. Metatron understands that. But he also says that you are equipped mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even physically, to be able to turn your attention from the chaos and the mayhem of change into becoming more visionary of what is yet to come. I had this wonderful description that was given to me, and I'm going to read it to you guys directly, um, of what this new paradigm, what's happening in this, creating this new earth. And it was really interesting because it made a lot of sense. One of the things with this new earth thing is we all have an idea of what it is. We all have a hope of what it is, but nobody really knows what it is, right? Nobody really knows what it is. And part of that is because we're creating it. we're creating it. And if we're not creating it consciously, if we're not paying attention, if we're not gathering in our communities and beginning to look forward and creating this, we are in danger of creating more of the same. And so that's why Archangel Metatron is telling us to really shift our focus from what is falling away to what is becoming. And so I want to read this to you. And this is something that was channeled to me for you. And they're saying 5D, which is also the new earth dimension. So 5D is a frequency field of morphogenic creative energy that is shaped and molded by those who match that frequency. And I haven't even signed off Michele Amburgey, Araku. Araku is another word for a teacher for the New Earth leaders. And that is another mantle that I have taken on. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm a teacher, but it's not teacher in the sense that most people think. I'm not here to teach you something I know and you don't. What I'm here to open the doors, and when you're ready for you to walk through. It's a different description of what a teacher is, because it's the new earth. It's a new paradigm. So 5D is a frequency field of morphogenic creative energy. Morphogenic energy is creative energy. It is the first spark of life. It could be called the breath of God as it animates everything that it breathes life into. That's a morphogenic field. It's creative energy. It's energy that's sitting there and waiting to be used. So it's a frequency field of morphogenic creative energy that is shaped and molded by those who match that frequency. So the key here is matching that frequency. So a big part of this new earth leadership, a big part of this new earth calling is for us to get ourselves into that 5D frequency, for us to be able to turn away from the chaos, because when you're looking at the mayhem that is happening right now, it lowers your vibration, period. You can't get away from it. It is trauma to the mind, the emotions, the body, and the soul. And it's designed to be that way. We must learn to take at least 51% of our attention and keep it on the positive, the good, the love, the peace, the joy, the harmony, and what we want to create. And it's not always easy. And it sounds good, but when you really start implementing it, it really oftentimes requires some lifestyle changes. I've had some people say to me, "Well, I eat vegan and I meditate twice a day and I do yoga, so I'm good to go." And oftentimes these same people are people that are getting angry with people, that are judgmental, intolerant. Um, you hear them saying kind of nasty things about others. And it's like, that's not the frequency what it is. It's not about what you eat. It's not about if you do yoga. It's not about if you meditate. It's about where your heart is. Where is your heart? Are you in love with life and humanity? Are you in love with your life? Are you in love with yourself? If you are, you're vibing at a 5D, because you have to love yourself so much that it just overflows into all of humanity. And sometimes, we have programming and stuff that tells us otherwise, but we can move beyond that, because we are greater than that. We are greater than what we have been. We're greater than what our circumstances have put us into. We're greater than all of it. There is a saying that says, we are greater. Oh my gosh, it'll come to me in a minute. It's something that's out of the Bible. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And that means that God spark, that goddess spark, that innate divine beingness. I love calling it God, Goddess, Creator, Christ consciousness. I am that I am. Whatever words we have, anybody who is in a level of consciousness that is above the standard mainstream understands that there is something within each and every one of us that is great and vast and magnificent, and we feel it as part of the new earth calling. We feel this greatness within. And when you're really tapping into this, you also feel the greatness within all of life, not even humanity. You feel the greatness of the animals, the birds, the trees, the spiders, the snakes, the rivers, the lakes, the grass, the trees. We feel the spark of life in everything. And when you do that, you begin to connect into that oneness. When we begin to understand we are all that same spark. And sometimes it's kind of hard to get the head around, or sometimes the head's like, yeah, I got it, I got it, I got it. But it is a visceral, all over physical body, mental body, emotional body, energy body, aura body, even our multidimensional selves. It's that big of an experience. And it goes into the infinite within. We are infinite within, just like we are infinite without. And so this is a lot of the stuff that I want to start talking about um in this show. I'm calling it a show. It's going to be Thursday mornings at 10 o'clock, and it's going to be on Awoken. It's going to be on intuitive life coach Michele Amburgey. It's going to be in Soulful Living, and it's going to be in the New Earth Leadership group. And I'm going to start talking about this. And I'm also going to start inviting you guys to become a part of this. If you want to be part of the New Earth Leadership Movement, please get over there to my Facebook group and get in, because we need you and we need to start this conversation. I'm going to start doing some interviews with people, maybe even putting them on Facebook, which would be kind of cool, and just talk about all of this, because the fun thing is there's no one way to do this. The fun thing is every single one of you are going to have something unique and wonderful to bring to the table. The fun thing is we're all doing this together, and it can be playful and wonderful. Moving into the new earth, we don't want all the seriousness. Excuse me. We don't want all the seriousness. We've got to keep play. We've got to keep flow. We've got to keep a lightness. We've got to keep our hearts light and free to do this work. And when we have a community and when we have support around us, it's so much easier to do that. You know, when we all help carry the load is much lighter. And that's why creating community is so important. I've also known since I was a child that and watching, I was born in the early 60s, watching how communities then turned into, these separate islands that are families with the walls and the garages and the doors and the everything. There's some people that don't even know their neighbor. And I'm going to confess right now, I live in a cul-de-sac of 7 homes, and I only know 4 of the neighbors. I don't even know some of the neighbors. And I look right into their living room, from my front room. I mean, not right into it, it's way across the street. But I mean, I see their and I don't know who they are. And I think it's really important that we get back community. We get back to that. And that's why I really want to start this. Um, the other word that comes to me is collective, a collective of new earth leaders. And there's also, you might not be called to be a leader. Maybe you're an ambassador. Maybe you're a visionary. Maybe you're a creative. Maybe you're a space holder. Maybe you can just hold that place within your heart, within your soul. There's so many different things to do. But one of the things that we want to start kind of let marinate in our little noggins is who are going to be the leaders, because we're seeing a shift already in politics and in governance as a whole, in education, in medicine, in pharma, in um, God, excuse me, everything. Um, medicine especially has got to change. Education is another huge one too. And there's so many different things, the banking systems, everything, it's all crumbling, and it's all going to change. What do we want to see for the future? That's where the new earth visionaries come in. What are you seeing? That's what I really want to do, some visioning things too. And as I get this going, and as we get along, maybe in a couple months, we can actually start some gatherings to where we all sit together, and probably be in Zoom, unless the world opens up a little bit more. And we're kind of all spread all over the place. So, but that doesn't matter, when we're working in that 5D energy, wherever we are, we're with those that we love. And Zoom is such a wonderful tool to be able to be with those that are physically far away, but we can all be working together. So we want to start looking at what do we want education to look like in the future? Do we want our kids put in rooms and locked in rooms and you know being without music, without art, without the creative things? Um especially with the pandemic and everything, kids haven't even been able to go outside. They haven't been able to run around. In Japan, they have a wonderful school, and I'm not sure if it's a model for a lot of school, if it's one school, but the kids learn outside. They go outside and they have desks and places to learn outside. They sit under trees. They learn about nature and all of that. Even as they're learning reading, writing, and arithmetic, calculus, technology. They're intermingling with nature as they do that. Another thing that these schools do is, kids help to maintain the school. They help to clean, they help to garden, they help to weed. Oh, excuse me, my throat's really dry. Um, they take pride in their school. We don't see the nonsense that we see in our education system right now, which is a product of all kinds of stuff. And so it's really important that we start looking at that money. How do we want money to be handled in the future? Do we even want money in the future? Can we all just live gloriously happy and fulfilled and abundant? Mother Earth is an abundant planet. She has more than enough for all of us. Oh, excuse me. There's more than enough for all of us. There's more than enough food. It's more than enough room. How do we want to do that? you know and there's going to be people that have affinities for different things. What are jobs going to look like? What do we want jobs? How are we going to delineate what is needed? I think a lot of times we might need to kind of go back to the more indigenous tribal models and see how they function when they function one with Mother Earth. um there's so many things to look at. Governance and let's get rid of politics altogether. That's that's my thing. But governance, there does need to be structures. When you have a lot of people, there needs to be certain structures, but there are ways of governance, again, that many of the indigenous people use that is very effective and very powerful and very nurturing and uplifting. I know that there is in Africa, there is a practice amongst many of the tribes that if someone does something horrible, like murder someone or steal or whatever, they don't, pin that person to the wall and say you're bad, you're evil. you know um they say, oh my goodness, their soul is hurting. Let's nurture their soul. Let's help them with what is hurting them so they don't feel the compulsion to do that. We need something like that put in place instead of millions. It's got to be millions of people in jail, mixing with people who are of like mind, creating more of the same. There's just so many different ways to go back. I'm hearing the word Ubuntu, and I've seen it many times. I don't know what it means, but that Archangel Metatron is bringing that through too. So important that we begin to see each other each as sacred and holy beings. That we love each other. Um, One of the teachings, that the great Master Jesus taught us, the main thing is he is like, love each other. And it doesn't mean love with the ego, it means love with the love of God, where each one of us is sacred and holy. Something that mothers understand, we love our children no matter what. And there are mothers that love their children even when they're murderers and maybe child molesters and have done horrible, terrible things. You still love your child. And it's important that we get that level of love for self and for each other, because that's going to make a difference too. And so that's just a couple of things that I personally have been thinking about. And I know there's so much more, with the medical stuff, getting back to natural medicine, getting, allowing the technology that we have that is, like the med beds. Everybody's hearing about the med beds now. Um, and the technology that Tesla brought in that we have available for healing. There's cures for cancer, there's cures for things, there's cures. There are things that have been created that help the body get back into alignment so that it is healthy. I mean, all it is when when we're ill, and everybody is ill now, is a toxic overload, and it's a misalignment of energy. And honestly, when we start getting back to that natural stuff, it doesn't take that long to straighten it up. um our physical bodies, Archangel Metatron's coming through. He's saying these physical bodies were designed to live for about 1,000 years. He's saying 800 to 1,000 years. They were designed to live that long, and it's only because of the misalignment, toxicity, misalignment, mental and emotional stuff. And he's saying other things that have been thrown in the mix, that we've gotten to where, we're not even living 100 years. And he's saying that's why humanity is having such a hard time evolving, because when we don't have the time to learn the continuity of, he's saying, consequences for one thing. It's like, oh, it's like everything is just a blip every time we come in. We barely have time to even figure it out before we're out again. And so getting our physical bodies back into that state of grace, he's calling it, to where health and longevity is just a natural state. That when you're ready to leave the body, you make that choice. And it isn't a suffering, horrible thing. It's a, you sit down, lay your head on the pillow and say goodbye to your loved ones and move on. The illness is a thing of the past. And that's something Archangel Metatron is saying very loud. Illness is a thing of the past. He's saying accidents can even be mitigated by living right in this world. And he's also saying, Mother Earth is also going through this ascension thing, and is helping in creating this new Earth. What is the new Earth? Are we actually creating another physical Earth? Nobody really knows. I think that's part of the visioning. There are some people that have very strong feelings about it. I've been shown that it's actually it's not a creating of a new Earth, but it's kind of like, it's kind of like, I'm a medium too. So I talk to dead people and they talk back. And it's kind of like that. It's like our deceased loved ones they're around us, but not everybody can see them. Not everybody can feel them. You have to be of a certain mindset, a certain belief system, and a certain frequency to be able to communicate with those through the veil. So the new Earth is going to be something similar to that, where most people on the old Earth aren't even going to know. And this might even be what the rapture is too, when all of a sudden, all of us who are creating new Earth that have this calling, that have gotten our mindset and are working with that morphogenic field in such a way that it actually, bam, it creates, that might be what they talk about as the rapture, where all of a sudden all these people disappear. Could be kind of similar. We'll see when we get there. But it's kind of like this new Earth is side by side. It's just at a different frequency, right? So we're vibing at a 5D frequency, where the rest of the Earth is still in the 3D. Some are kind of, there'll be people in 3D that can maybe see through into 5D. Maybe they can visit 5D. Not sure, but it's exciting to talk about. And that's one of the things that's so important as we're all gathering and as we're all doing this, is to keep a really, really open, broad mind. Because I feel when we get together, we're all going to begin to bring in pieces of a huge picture that probably none of us have gotten the whole picture of. And so it's really, really exciting. And I want to thank you, those of you that are watching right now too. I see that we've got 6 or 7 people that are tapping in. So I wanted to start this conversation. I wanted to get this out there. I want to start talking about this. I want to start inviting those of you, come, those of you that are feeling this calling. And you don't even have to know what it is. Maybe you just want to come in and sit down and listen. Maybe you want to make a couple friends, whatever that is, whatever nurtures you at this point. If you're feeling that calling, come on over to the New Earth Leadership Facebook group. I think it just went private. I had it as an open group. but I had some people coming in that were, um, uh, I don't know, they're feeling a little trolly, to be honest. And so I kind of cleared that out, made it a private group. And so come on in. Let's talk about it. Let's see what you're doing. I do want people that coming into this group to be people that are going to participate, because that is one of the things with this new earth thing. We all need to participate. It's time to step up, stand up. I had Archangel Metatron said to one of my clients the other day, he said, put your big girl panties on, put your big boots on, let's get going. And so they're really wanting the people that are ready to step up. And some people just kind of want to listen. They're feeling it. They're feeling the rumble. That's okay too. But we really need to have people that are going to participate. Now, there's no more time for sitting back and watching. There's no more time for just being like, yeah, well, we really need the people that are being called to step up. And I know a lot of you have said you are. And so it's super exciting. I do want to tell you that in September, I'm going to be doing another one of those online events, which was so much fun. I had so many people were so excited about the Divine Flow Expo. So Divine Flow Expo is now going to be our theme in September is going to be New Earth Leadership. And so I am going to be looking for some presenters and speakers for that as well. If you feel that you're ready, please contact me. Those of you that are just feeling the calling, make sure you come over and join the New Earth Leadership Facebook group and look for this show. I'm calling it a show. It's going to be Thursday mornings, 10 a.m. Pacific. I was a little bit late today because I had a meeting. And let's start talking. Come into the group and ask questions, introduce yourselves, maybe put forth some of your ideas. If you have questions for me, let me know. If you have things you want to talk about on here, I'm actually going to open this up so that you guys can make comments for everything. I know sometimes when I'm streaming across several platforms, not all the comments come through, but I will go to the different places and check on it. This is being streamed over to Awoken TV. It's on my um, uh, intuitive Michele Amburgey, and it's also in the New Earth Leadership group. And so this is fun. This is a great beginning. I'm super excited. And I hope that you guys are excited too. I hope that you guys really are beginning to feel the trauma of this last year. It's the only word I can come up with. And even though, me personally, I had a great year last year. Um, there was very little trauma, but also I work at home. I stay at home. I live in my home. I have a wonderful home. I don't have to go anywhere. I have my groceries delivered, Amazon.com. So I didn't really get out there and see in the world what was going on. I don't think that I was supposed to. I think I was supposed to stay at home, kind of cocooned, kind of letting all this stuff marinate. I actually had two amazing awakening experiences during that time, to where I came into this state to where I know I'm the Awakener. I'm the Araku, a teacher for the New Earth leaders, and an intergalactic angel messenger. So that's like, whoa, those are some pretty big titles. But I wear them confidently and I wear them knowingly. I also was given a title as the Bodhisattva, with a new explanation of what Bodhisattva is. But as that portal of transformation for people that are moving through into 5D. So there's a lot going on, and what I'm experiencing, the mantles I've taken on, the titles, that I'm kind of taking on, if for no other reason than really just to awaken me back to myself. It's like, oh wow, I am an awakener. Oh wow, I am a person that holds space for people to transform. Wow, I am a teacher for the New Earth leaders. I am an intergalactic angel messenger. I am. This is what I do, and it's what I am. Pretty soon, those titles will fall away. I won't need to actually use them anymore, um, because I will have stepped fully into those roles and it will be recognized. And the names and titles will probably change as we move through, right? Because things, they are a changing. So Archangel Metatron just wants to finish this up by saying, oh, I'm getting chills all over my body, saying, The time is now. If you're hearing the calling in your heart of hearts, heed that calling and come to us. He's showing me that there's many people. He's showing me just like tons of people kind of walking out of darkness into light. And this light is like this brilliant, light like heaven that's just crystalline, beautiful, kind of has almost kind of like a purplish hue to it, which is very transformative, and just showing me just this throngs and hordes of people walking into the light. People are awakening really fast now, and they're going to need people to help. And I think that that's part of what this leader is. Um, because also part of the consciousness of the word leader in the future isn't someone who's at the head telling everybody what to do. What it is it's walking side by side and hand in hand and creating for the benefit of all life, not just for self or, my own. And that's another concept that I really want to get out there. However that manifests, it's going to manifest in a bunch of different ways. So we have to really be open. To everything. So when you're ready, I hope I see you over at the new group. Look forward to the new event that's coming up. Super fun. I'm going to start working on it at the beginning of, where are we? May, beginning of June. I'm taking May to kind of settle down. I also have a class that's going to be starting here soon. We were going to do it May 10th. I think we're going to put it back a couple of weeks to more towards the end of May. And it's called Awaken to Your Divine Flow. Awaken to Your Divine Flow is it's a 4-week program. It's about 2 hours each week. I haven't planned for a Monday, but that might be able to be negotiable. If some people can't do Mondays, maybe we can all settle on a Wednesday or Saturday or something. We'll work that out. But what it is it's really helping you move into connecting to your inner divine presence, moving into that space, that spiritual space, that soul space that is so important to reconnect to. We've, as eternal souls, that is our eternality. That is where everything is in that soul. And the soul isn't just within the body, it's kind of everywhere in our energetic field. It's not just in one place. And it's so beautiful when we begin to realize that we are these eternal souls, and excuse me. And in that eternality, we we hold ourselves there and available to others, and we're so sacred. That's it's just, yeah, Archangel Metatron is just coming through with energy. I'm sorry, I'm kind of stuttering. All of a sudden I'm like getting like this downflow of energy. He just wants everybody to understand that we're all a part of it. There's a place for everyone in the new earth. We're not promoting separation or leaving anybody behind or anything. The purpose is to awaken everybody. And as people are awakening, they're going to need, hands to hold and shoulders to cry on, and people in place to help bring it all together. It's not even bringing it through anymore. We're kind of in the birth canal as it is, but it's, bring it all together, and creating these new things that are going to create a better living for all things. And food, growing food and everything too. I've always had this wonderful vision of just all green spaces just being food growing. I've got a yard that I water, and there's no food growing on it. It's grass. It's bushes with some flowers on it, and really begin to move into where everybody grows food and share with the community, and take care of the bees and the butterflies and the pollinators, and take care of the nature that is within each of our different realms as well. And so envisioning that, and it's funny because when I think of that in concept, it's so exciting to me. I don't grow things well. I've started so many gardens and I'm just like, nothing's growing. So I would be one of the people that would need to be taught. I would need my new earth leader of how to grow food. I would need to be taught how to do that. And so we all have something to learn. We all have something to give. And that's what's so beautiful. And Archangel Metatron is saying we're beginning, we're taking those steps forward, we're connecting heart to heart, standing shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. We're all going to learn how to be in our hearts. And so that's what Divine Flow Expo, I mean, Divine Flow, Awaken Your Divine Flow course is about, is getting back into that space, realigning with that, your divine self, your divine beingness, and taking a look at at do you have a role in the new earth leadership? Are you an ambassador, visionary? Are you working with children? Where's your heart? Where's your soul? Where's your passion? And when you find that, all these other things become very, very clear. And Awaken to Your Divine Flow is the beginning of some larger courses that are new earth leadership courses that will be coming at the end of this year. And so I'm going to be placing myself um, in that role as Araku to begin to help everybody really, really get into who they are, what needs to be done, how they can develop that, how could they can begin to apply that to their life, and also to create a collective to where we're all working together towards the goals. And it's a big program. And part of it is actually becoming an Araku. It'll be Araku training as well, to where you begin to train the other new earth leaders that are coming up as well. So there's a lot going on. It's super exciting. And as we're doing that, we're all creating this new earth. So I want you guys to start thinking about, like, how should it look? What new wonderful ways can we do things? It's going to benefit everyone. It's going to bring in abundance and good health and prosperity and happiness and joy and like being able to live our lives doing the things we love to do and making it exciting to get out of bed in the morning. We don't want to, oh, I started to say, we don't want to make it so that we have a populace of people that sit on the couch and watch Netflix. And Archangel Metatron just said, oh, yeah, there'll be no TVs. And so TVs are out, ladies and gentlemen. So anyways, I'm going to get going. This is a really good start for this. It is 11:11 a.m. here on the Pacific coast of the United States. So I think that's a great portal and a great time to say amen to that. 11:11, the opening to the new earth. It's a Mayan actually symbology more than actually the number. So I just blessings on each and every one of you. Let's start thinking about this. I'll be back here next Thursday with this. Come on over and join the group, New Earth Leadership on Facebook, and let's get the party started. I love you guys. You are all absolutely fascinating and wonderful, and I really look forward to getting to know you and to begin to be putting our hearts and souls into action um, for what we're all here for. So I love you guys. Take it easy.